Hey, Live on Purpose family. I'm live here today. I wanted to tell you about an idea that I had. And I get questions about this all the time. How do you deal with difficult people? Or sometimes the word toxic comes up. And I've actually done some videos about this here on the channel. But that got in my head. Toxic, like poison, right? So I went to the poison control resources on the internet. There's things that you can do to deal with poison or toxins. And so let me just share these with you real quick because I think this is helpful when we're dealing with toxic or poisonous people or relationships. Phase 1, rinse, cleanse, dilute, or diffuse the poison. So like if you get up against some poison ivy, for example, you want to rinse that off. You want to cleanse your skin of that poison, that toxin. It's a way of getting it out of or off of you, right? Rinse, cleanse, dilute, or diffuse. And I was thinking this probably relates to self-care, right? Taking care of ourselves. Can we get a perspective that allows us to not be so tipped over by what's going on with this toxic relationship? So rinse, cleanse, dilute, or diffuse. Oh, also debriefing is helpful. This is something that I've learned in my training as a psychologist. When you go through a traumatic event, it is very, very helpful to be able to debrief that event or talk to someone about it. So that's where I put that first phase. Here's the second phase. I got this from Poison Control, okay? Purge, antidote, counteract, or remove. Purge, antidote, counteract, or remove. So if you've ingested a poison, now it's going to be helpful if you can do something that actually counteracts that poison or acts as an antidote to that. And thank you guys for jumping in live. I'm seeing Rachel, Christy, Natalie. Thanks for being here, you guys. This is fun to jump in live sometimes. And I've got something I want to share with you here in just a minute as well. And Tecumseh's there. Awesome. You guys are awesome. From an interpersonal standpoint, see, I get distracted. You guys show up and I'm like, these are my people. Coaching, learning about positivity. These are the things that you can do to purge or counteract or create an antidote for the poisonous stuff that's happening in those interactions or those relationships. And then here's the third step, prevention. Prevention, protection, and avoidance. So you want to stay away from those toxic elements, right? You want to get some boundaries set up or some protections so that you're not putting yourself in harm's way. That makes sense. From an interpersonal standpoint, we're setting limits. We're creating boundaries. Oh, and by the way, on one of our coaching calls this morning at Live on Purpose Central, somebody brought this up. What if I'm setting boundaries and people don't respect those boundaries? We can't expect people to respect our boundaries. That's outside of our control. We have to set boundaries that we can actually enforce, okay? So whether other people like it or not, that's the boundary, right? We can't expect them to respect our boundaries. We have to pick some that we can actually enforce. That's going to make sense if you think about it. Communication, assertiveness. So you can build skills around this too. And it's okay to opt out. This is harder when we're dealing with family, right? Because you're close to those people and you want to keep them in your love or in your relationships. But there are times when, I told this to one of my clients, hey, if somebody's hosting a barbecue and you're on the menu, you may not want to show up to that. Think about how that relates to setting our boundaries and limits. You don't have to show up to the barbecue where you're on the menu. You with me? Anyway. Okay, and I'm seeing some comments coming through. Excuse me. We're live. We edit out all of the coughs for you on the channel, but we're live here today. Here's one of the reasons I wanted to share this with you. We have the holidays coming up, the winter holidays, whichever ones you subscribe to and practice and honor. And this is a time typically when people come together in families or in groups, and this is where we experience sometimes those toxic relationships. So in preparation for that, on Friday, this Friday, like, what's that? 3 days from now, today's Tuesday. On Friday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, I'm going to be doing a live mini course on how to deal with difficult people during the holidays, especially if those people are right there in your own family. I would love to have you join me for that. We're going to spend an hour or so together working through these 3 phases, coming up with some very specific things that you can do. My objective for this, I want this to create a situation where you can immediately feel better about your anticipation of these holiday events that are coming up. I will give you some very clear steps and resources that you can take and provide some other resources where I can give you some personal help as well. So will you jump in? I'll put a link in the description. I have to do that after we finish the live stream. But if you want to jump on it before we finish the live stream, just go to Dr. Paul Jenkins, spelled with a DR, Dr. Paul Jenkins, PaulJenkins.info, not .com, we use that for other things, .info, and then a /holidays. Can you remember that? drpauljenkins.info/holidays. That's how you can reserve your seat, or we have some limited seating, but I've got a fairly big webinar room that we can use for this. I'll be there live this Friday. We'll spend an hour or so working this through, okay? This will prepare you for the holidays even better, and I'll get into these 3 phases in a lot more detail. Just wanted you to know that's coming. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for who you are, for what you do. You guys are my inspiration. You're the reason that I keep moving forward and creating these videos. I get your comments that it makes a difference for you, and honestly, that just lights me up. I'm so pleased to be on your team. You guys, Friday, okay? drpauljenkins.info/holidays. Come join us for that little mini course that we're doing. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's going to make a difference. Totally free. I'm doing that as a service for you, and I'm hoping that I'll see you there. Go register up for it. I'll put a link in the description, but I have to do that after the stream ends, so it's not there yet. But I'll see you guys there. You're awesome. Hey, see you next time I see you. Bye-bye.